Starting again on the other side of the world is many people's idea of heaven. But how far would you push your relationship to make the dream come true? In 2013, Neil Connor had just 1 week to persuade partner Christopher to uproot their lives and move to Australia. Today, we'll find out where the couple are now. 2 years ago, Neil was longing for a better life in Australia.
Earning more money, having a nice house, not going to work in the frost and the snow.
While their trial week down under saw partner Christopher sorely tempted.
No way, no way. Amazing.
Although I wouldn't mind washing the dishes for that view.
Affording the dream life was another matter.
It's nearly 4 times what we spend back home.
So 2 years on, have the couple made it to the other side of the world?
I think things are going to work out perfectly well, probably better than we anticipated.
With 8 out of 10 people living within 60 miles of its coast, Australia has long been a promised land for British people seeking a better life. But not everyone finds the dream they were looking for, and around half return to the UK with their hopes dashed. In 2013, Neil Connor and Christopher King were facing a life-changing decision. They had just 1 week to experience all Australia had to offer before having to choose between a future in the UK or down under. Today, we'll find out if the dream life Neil was chasing has become reality. 2 years ago, the couple's trial week began with 20 hours in the air, flying from Scotland to Adelaide. And just moments after arriving, Christopher was already having cold feet.
I'm definitely concerned about the travelling, definitely for my family. It's such a long, long journey.
Neil was less worried.
It's just all exciting to see what lies ahead in the next few days, just to help make Christopher's mind up. If the sun keeps shining, I think the task will be a lot easier than we thought it was.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Both had visited Adelaide before, but this time it was no holiday. Neil had just 1 week to persuade Christopher their future life together lay in Australia. In the UK, Neil Connor and Christopher King were living in a 2-bedroom apartment near Glasgow city centre. Neil had recently qualified as a theatre nurse and Christopher was in banking, but their busy careers had taken over their lives.
There's times where we just pass each other by.
I work shifts here as well, and sometimes I don't get home late. Neil starts early, so we don't see very much of each other during the week.
They both felt something had to change, and for Neil, the answer was obvious.
Australia has always been my dream since I was a wee boy.
A trip to the country years previously had only furthered his desire to emigrate.
I had the chance to go on holiday to Australia and I totally fell in love with it the moment I was there. As the plane landed, I remember looking out thinking, it's as if I'm going home when I'd never even set foot in the place.
The couple had been together for 5 years and Neil had been clear about his intentions to move down under from the start.
From the minute we first met, Neil told me exactly that his dream was Australia, that I wasn't to go and do anything silly like fall in love with him.
Obviously, he couldn't keep his end of the bargain, so now I'm going to Australia and he has to come with me.
Neil passionately believed Australia could offer both him and Christopher more than the UK.
We do want to have a better quality of life. We want to have a nice home. We want to have somewhere that our friends and family can come and stay. But the biggest draw of Australia is the fact that we can come home from work and get to spend time with each other.
Neil had worked tirelessly to persuade Christopher to share his dream, but with only limited success.
He's over 100% convinced, and I'm not as high as a percentage, to be honest.
It was 0% in the early days, but over the years we've been together, I've been slowly chipping away.
But moving to Australia with Neil would mean Christopher leaving behind his mother and a family who relied heavily on his support.
My mum calls me a rock. I'm the only one that drives, so I take mum to the hospital appointments, a reminder that she's got them. It'll be tough for my family to to cope with, not having me here.
I know that it terrifies him to think that we could abandon them, and then if he's not here to give that support that he loves to give them every day, he'd be so racked with guilt.
If Neil was to persuade Christopher to make the heartbreaking choice to leave his mum behind, he knew there was a huge amount to achieve in the week ahead.
I would go and live in a tin shed. If Christopher and I weren't together and I was single, then I would be in Australia yesterday.
There's a huge pressure weight on my shoulders. I hope that I do love it as much as he tells me I'm going to love it, just because I know how much he wants to do and it's his lifelong dream.
Everything rested on the week ahead. Could Neil and Christopher find the life they dreamed of, or would the heartache of leaving family behind be too much to bear? The couple spent their trial week in Adelaide. Having been ranked the most livable city in Australia for the last 3 years, it was the perfect place for the lifestyle they were seeking. Home for the week was a modern 2-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city centre.
Wow.
Very nice.
It's ginormous compared to what you think it would be outside. It's actually identical to how we would probably have it.
It's very much to our taste, isn't it?
It looked like both Neil and Christopher were ready to move in.
Oh my God.
A beautiful hotel bedroom, isn't it?
It's just like what we would want.
Like, it is actually perfect.
They'd got the lifestyle pad for the week, but already Neil's thoughts were turning to what was at stake over the next few days.
It's all about convincing Christopher that we can afford to make the move.
The house is key for family to come over and being able to afford the house.
There's a lot of weight on his shoulders as much as I just say, yeah, we're going to live in Adelaide. He's the one that has to do the thinking.
This is the week we will decide whether we want to eventually move to Australia or not. This is the kind of deal breaker. So it's so important to get it right and find out exactly what we need to find out.
In the UK, Christopher and Neil were living in a 2-bedroom flat in Glasgow. But when it came to a home down under, they both knew exactly what they wanted.
We do want a 3-bedroom to 4-bedroom house, big enough for family to come over, and big enough so we don't fall on top of each other when family do come and visit. Quite modern, not too much outdoor space.
You just have to cut the grass. And if it's covered in monoblocks or slabs or slate, then that's perfect. With the occasional aloe vera plant.
Yes.
We showed Neil and Christopher 3 properties based on what they thought they could afford, what they'd ideally like, and one in between. The first house was in the established beachside suburb of Merino, around 12 miles southwest of Adelaide city centre. So did this recently renovated 2-bedroom house get the day off to a flying start?
It does look lovely, but it's just I don't think I'd like it here.
No, too many creepy crawlers.
It's too much, yeah.
It did have the aloe vera plant though.
Oh, good sized room.
Oh God, it's lovely.
That's
It's
very
nice.
bright. Oh, that's a bedroom. I thought that'd be the living room. That's very nice.
Oh, it's lovely. It's just like how our bedroom would be at home.
Green, one of my favourite colour.
Yeah, you're green crazy.
Built in the 60s, the house's layout was traditional, but the interior design did meet with approval.
Well, it's a good sized kitchen.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's very nice. I like the worktop.
The breakfast bar. It's perfect.
So far, so good.
Things were going well.
There's rooms everywhere.
Oh, really?
Bathroom.
That's
It's
good size.
Yeah. Shower and bath. It's cool.
It's just another bedroom. That's an okay size.
But this means there's only 2 rooms there.
Oh dear, with only 2 bedrooms, the house seemed to be losing its appeal.
If this is the only other bedroom there is, it'd be difficult.
But perhaps with some forward planning,
Just need to be stricter with the calendar for visits. No, you can come in January.
outside, the covered decking area was ideal for socialising.
Oh, it's
This is
fantastic,
lovely.
isn't it?
You can see the sea view.
Sea view, perfect. You can just imagine sat out here at night time.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
No, that's lovely.
It was all going so well until...
I don't know too much about seeing other people's roofs.
I doubt there'll be anyone ever on their roofs.
And things went downhill from there.
Or too much there. Oh, I didn't realise that was all around there. Imagine sitting out here at night when it gets dark. The mosses come out. Oh, thanks.
The house had fallen short of Christopher's high expectations, but with a budget of £300,000, was it somewhere they could afford anyway?
All right, okay. Are you going to flap?
My flat.
Good job.
So over 300, but less than 310. So that's within our budget. I think this house confirms to me that this is doable.
But Christopher wasn't convinced.
It doesn't have enough space for people to visit.
It's got 2 bedrooms just now, with a dressing room, which would easily be a temporary third bedroom.
Yeah, at the moment, people stay for one night, but over here, people will be coming out for months. So can you imagine working full-time and tripping over visitors?
No, I think it's perfect.
Okay.
It looked like Neil had a battle on his hands. If he was to keep Christopher on side, the next house needed to offer more, much more. Slightly closer to the city, this modern 4-bedroom bungalow was in Hove, a popular and lively area the couple had previously looked at online. But was the reality enough for Christopher?
Like double garage.
Yeah.
And not too much grass.
Yeah.
And only a few plants. That's ideal.
Yeah.
It was a better start than the last house.
Bedroom.
Oh, massive bedroom
First.
straight away.
Yeah.
And is that a walk-in wardrobe?
Yes.
That's a good size.
Because the last house
Didn't have
there
any
was no
storage.
wardrobes, yeah. And the ensuite. Funky cool. Yeah.
And this is beautiful.
Yeah. It's perfect.
And things kept getting better.
This is the houses we've seen. Like open plan living, just having all this in the one big room.
It's such a big size.
It's super. But
That's
imagine having
beautiful.
people over, that big breakfast bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
The house was ticking all the right boxes. Until...
The only thing is that road. That's really loud.
But I suppose we're, what, 5 minutes from the beach? That's Brighton Road, the busy. We're going to get traffic.
Very busy though.
I know what you mean, it is annoying.
At home, they'd whiled away hours looking at Aussie properties on the internet, but the day had been a reminder that nothing beat on-the-ground research. The house did have the space for visitors the couple wanted, but Neil and Christopher suspected it was way over their £300,000 budget.
I'd say £450,000.
No, I'd say 400.
400?
Yeah.
Okay. The big reveal.
Ah.
404.
That is £100,000.
Over budget.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed.
It's disappointing because this is where I thought would be ideal to stay. I just didn't realise how busy that road was going to be.
With 2 properties down, Neil's chances of convincing Christopher to make the move to Adelaide weren't looking good. Would the final property save the day? The couple's last stop was a newly built 5-bedroom house in Port Noarlunga. Located 45 minutes from the city centre, it had the potential to offer more value for money, but would it be up to spec?
Oh my god.
It's beautiful.
Oh my god.
It was a good start.
Oh, it's a
Awesome
bedroom.
bedroom.
It's a good size.
It's beautiful. It really is. It's just amazing. Like, it is actually amazing.
That's gorgeous.
It's like a 5-star hotel.
It's obviously brand new.
It's just beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Neil was chasing his dream in Australia, but was this house getting Christopher carried away too?
No way, no way.
This is beautiful.
It's amazing.
Although I wouldn't mind washing the dishes for that view.
It's
That's
beyond words.
breathtaking.
Like, it is actually beyond words. It's perfect.
I'm actually getting a bit choked up by how
I
beautiful it
was
is.
teary-eyed at the kitchen.
It was the reaction Neil had been hoping for. Outside was perfect for entertaining.
That's amazing, isn't it? It just opens this space right up out to here, like bringing the outdoors in.
And there wasn't a creepy crawly in sight.
Oh my god.
Built-in Barbie. Before we even look at the view, we're like, aye, barbecue.
Oh, that's spectacular. When people say houses have the wow factor, this definitely has it.
With 5 bedrooms, the house also had plenty of space for visiting family.
Oh, is this a master bedroom? Look at that walk-in wardrobe. That's bigger than our spare room back home.
Now I've seen this, I don't want to live in any other house. I want to stay
I
here.
know, it just makes other houses look horrible, doesn't it?
It appeared Neil and Christopher had found their dream house. but could they afford it? Their budget was £300,000.
Well over £500,000, I'd say. More than 500,000.
I think more 450, just because of how far away it is.
Are you doing honest? No way.
421.
So that's £17,000 more than the house at Hove.
So it is.
It was £121,000 over budget, but the couple were quick to consider a larger mortgage.
Over 30
Compared to
years,
this,
that's so doable.
is it worth it?
Yeah. Does it give us the dream? Is it the dream house? Yeah.
If we bought a house like this, we wouldn't ever need to move ever again.
And this is just left field.
This is just blowing us away.
House hunting had given the couple plenty of food for thought. Property 1 was within their price range, but not big enough to accommodate their needs. The second house had been nearly perfect, although £100,000 over budget and too close to a busy road. And property 3 had been everything Neil had been dreaming of, but with a price to match. So based on everything they'd seen, did Christopher and Neil choose property in the UK or Australia?
Based on the houses we've seen today, our vote is going to be
Australia! Did you think I was going to go Australia?
Yeah, after seeing this house, I knew Australia was the way to go.
Yeah,
Just,
I was the same.
this is the place to be.
That's it. No need to go home. This is the house for us.
Yeah.
Christopher's vote for Australia was great news for Neil's hopes of a better life down under. But it was based on a dream home and lifestyle that would require substantial funding. So it is now more important than ever to secure good jobs in Adelaide. Back in the UK, the couple had worked incredibly hard to pay for the lifestyle they enjoyed. Neil was a theatre nurse at Glasgow's Royal Infirmary.
Because I'm the main visa applicant, it would be my job that we'd be looking at as a priority. Hopefully I'd look for an identical post. If that's not the case, the fact is I've got a degree in nursing, so I should be a nurse anywhere. And if it means taking any job, as long as I was a nurse, I'd be happy. And if it pays the bills, Christopher will be happy too.
Christopher had spent 5 years working his way up through the ranks to become team manager in a large bank's contact centre.
I really enjoy my job here. I've put a lot of time and effort in it and really put myself out of my comfort zone at times to get where I am and what I've achieved. So I think giving that up will be tough because I'll need to start afresh and start from the beginning again.
To find out if Adelaide could offer the earning power the boys needed to afford their dream house, they headed off to explore the local job market. Christopher met with Cheryl Gaston, a senior manager at one of Australia's biggest banks, to find out if he could get a job at his current level.
We've currently got an external role at the moment, but it isn't team manager, it's what we call a lending manager, so it's probably one of our senior lending roles.
Over at Flinders Medical Centre, Neil met with Lydia Dennett, the chief nurse of South Australia, to find out if job opportunities existed for him.
At the moment we don't have an acute shortage and so really it's quite competitive in terms of seeking and obtaining a position.
It wasn't great news, but Neil's theatre skills appear to improve his chances of securing work.
In relation to your field of work and your area of specialisation, that being theatre nursing and in particular orthopaedic procedural nursing, does give you an advantage in terms of that competition that there might be at the moment for positions.
That's very good.
That was much more positive, and Neil had just one more all-important question.
What kind of salary could I expect at my current level of training?
About 55,000 Australian dollars.
Okay.
That's a base salary, and that would rise through an annual increment to just under 75,000 Australian dollars at year 10.
That sounds absolutely fabulous, Lydia. That's great.
That was over £10,000 more than Neil currently was earning in the UK, but only if, and it was a big if, he could actually find a job. Back at the bank, Christopher was hoping for positive news on a senior manager job.
it is quite rare that we do recruit externally for those roles. We really try to progress people through their career within.
It wasn't what Christopher had wanted to hear. Promoting from within the company meant he may initially have to take a step back in his career in Australia.
I think that was my main concern. Would it be the same position I'd go into, or would I start down at the consultant level and work my way up again?
But
we do have a scale, and you would come in with experience, so I would think you would probably already start at around the 62 to 67 mark. Would be the salary range that would be available, and then they would put super on top of that.
even with a step back, Christopher could earn almost £20,000 more than at home. So, having heard everything on offer, was their combined news enough for the couple to green light the dream?
Based on today's work experience, we're going to vote
Australia!
undecided.
Undecided means it might have been bad.
Although I'd be doing a job similar, I wouldn't be a team manager. And I think that just, although in the past we spoke about it and I said, I don't know, I wouldn't mind going back, I don't think I could.
No. So we need to find you a different job.
Yeah, we'll look at other banks, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, that's doable.
Yeah.
With an undecided vote from Christopher, Neil's dream of a future in Australia looked like it was in serious trouble. Any move down under had always been about the lifestyle the country could offer. So did a day exploring those opportunities help get the dream back on track? In the UK, the couple's lives outside work revolved around entertaining at home, so we arranged 2 activities they could enjoy on a regular weekend. First up was a visit to a farmer's market in the historic town of Wollonga.
A bucket of flowers.
It's only $8.
Really?
Yeah.
$8.
That's
Cheers,
brilliant.
man.
So we've got the funky goat, which is a French-style goat's cheese.
Why is it funky?
Well, it gets this funky rind, and as it ages, it gets some really funky flavours.
Oh, really?
I couldn't come up with any other name.
I thought it sung and danced.
Next stop was the nearby region of McLaren Vale, where the self-confessed foodies joined one of David Arbon's mozzarella-making classes.
Now you need to glove up, close it. If it's hot, pick it up. If your hands get too hot, hand it onto your partner and put your hands in that cold water there.
Oh, okay.
It's like the generation game. It's so hot.
Neil felt confident the day was going his way.
I think Christopher's thoroughly enjoyed today. I think it all contributes to tricking him into coming to live in Australia with me. So, yeah, he's had the ball as much as I have, and I'm sure that he can see himself coming here again and spending time in the sunshine.
Cooking done, he took the chance to do some soft selling.
Can you imagine but if we were having people over on that deck on the house in Port Noarlunga, having made pizza and halloumi?
Cooking the halloumi on the barbecue
On the
grill.
barbecue outside, yeah. It would just all fall into place.
It would. Could get a stone oven put in.
A stone
to cook
oven?
pizza.
Yeah.
The day had been made to order for the boys. But had it been good enough to convince Christopher the Aussie lifestyle was worth leaving the UK for?
Based on today, we're going to vote for Australia.
Australia.
That's a good decision. I think we've had a fabulous day out today.
But it's so much more relaxed over here. I could see us coming out on a Saturday morning, getting things in for a party, having people over at night.
It's textbook for what I'd look to be doing every weekend here in Adelaide.
Christopher seemed to be closer to committing to Australia, but could the couple afford the lifestyle they wanted? They sat down to compare costs in Australia and the UK, starting with the weekly shopping bill.
£5 for apples. OK, we'll stop eating apples. It's fine, I can happily miss that. What about lamb? What is lamb? Lamb is more expensive.
More expensive as well.
So we have to give up apples from our diet, choose between lamb or beef.
Tough decisions for a pair of food lovers. So how did their overall food bill add up?
That's £220 a month more on food.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's before going out for eat or anything like that.
Over £2,500 more each year on food alone was a significant hike. Basing their figures on the dream property, the bigger costs of living didn't look promising either.
Mortgage payment, property would be £2,600.
which is almost 2,500 more than what we pay at the moment.
It was an enormous hike in mortgage repayments, but the couple's income was potentially nearly £30,000 higher in Australia. So did their extra earnings mean they could afford the house and lifestyle they craved?
So in Australia, per month, we're worse off by £584.
That's a big deal.
It was a devastating result, but was it a deal breaker as they chose between finances in Australia and the UK?
So based on working out the figures for living in Australia, our vote's going to be
Undecided.
You're undecided?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a big deal. I got a bit carried away with the dream house. So it's not nice.
No, it was a reality check, it wasn't it? Yeah.
The harsh reality of living costs had put Neil's dream in real danger. And for Christopher, there was still one more hurdle to overcome, the thought of leaving his mum who relied on him so much. Would watching messages from friends and family in the UK be too much for him and put a halt to any plans for a future life in Australia?
Hi, Christopher and Neil. Hope you've had a good time in Australia. We've missed you.
Neil's the best guy ever. He would do anything for you and totally looks out for you.
Yeah, Neil's very close to us because we brought him up, and he treats us as if we're his own parents, and he loves us and we love him as much as he loves us. I'll miss him.
Christopher has been a real rock, and he knows exactly when I'm up and when I'm down, and he'll come and say, right, come on, we'll go this, we'll do this. I love him.
He takes care of her, especially when she's feeling down. He'll come over and maybe just make her feel like herself again.
You know, I'll miss you so much. I just hope you have a good life, and if that's what you want, then fair enough.
That's horrible, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was tough.
But we always knew that was going to be hard. We knew that was going to be the toughest part, to see them.
You don't realise how tough it can be though.
Oh, I was like, I will cry.
It's a lot tougher than you think. Yeah. You realise what a big part of their lives that we are.
Watching messages from friends and family was hard, especially for Christopher. As their trial week drew to a close, the couple knew exactly what they stood to gain or lose, making their approaching decision even harder.
It's been a total emotional rollercoaster this week. I'm still feeling a bit apprehensive and not 100% persuaded to move here.
Neil was having a last-minute crisis of conscience.
Sometimes seeing Christopher upset is the worst aspect of all. To know that I'm the motivator that's bringing this into his world.
And Christopher was aware of the impact his final decision could have on Neil.
Definitely worries me that Neil's dreams could potentially be shattered if at the end of the day I decide that it would be better staying in the UK.
It's been my dream for so long to come and live here. From the moment we landed, I felt like I was coming home. I know that this is where I want to spend the rest of my life.
It'd be such a big change, life-changing decision, and we just need to make sure that it's the right one.
It was a decision that couldn't be put off any longer.
Australia! They sold it. Thought it was going to be a bit touch and go for a moment there.
Really?
Yeah.
Seeing my mum and my brother on camera, although how hard it was, I think my mum looked great and my brother has obviously been great with her this week, so
without you?
That kind of reassured me a little bit. I think there's been more positives than negatives this week.
Oh, definitely.
And I think that's why my final vote's been Australia.
I think it's awesome. My dream is coming to reality, and having Christopher sharing it with me is just the best news ever.
I took a leaf out of your book.
Yeah, I know.
Take a bit.
Throw caution to the wind, yeah.
After years spent trying to persuade Christopher, their trial week had helped Neil seal the deal. It looked as if the couple were all set to make the move to the other side of the world. So, 2 years later, are they getting on with things in Glasgow or adjusting to a new life in Australia? It's May 2015 and Neil and Christopher are living in Adelaide, Australia. When the trial week won Christopher around, Neil couldn't quite believe the dream he'd had for so long was on the verge of coming true.
When Christopher voted for Australia at the end of our trial week, I was just ecstatic. I was shocked, because I think I was even undecided at one point, probably after the finances.
Yeah.
So yeah, when he turned the card and it was Australia, it was fantastic.
With their minds made up, the couple wasted no time getting the ball rolling.
When we returned to the UK after our last time here, we felt energised to really look into how we could get here, what visas, and look at jobs and houses again. It really gave us that extra spark to continue looking into it.
I think we were barely off the plane where we were downloading our visa applications and starting ticking all the boxes.
But first, they had to share the news with their families. And for Christopher in particular, it was tough.
It was very difficult breaking the news to them. I just felt like I was ripping the family apart, actually. I think there was a bit of denial that it would never actually happen. It was just a bit of a pipe dream.
People had obviously missed us, and it made us realise if this is how much our friends and family missed us for a couple of weeks, how are they going to cope when we're gone for good?
Already in the throes of a massive life-changing move, Neil decided to take the plunge with another.
Back in January last year, we went on a trip to Paris.
We went on this awesome cruise for dinner. The boat stopped under the Eiffel Tower. And he's like, oh, we've got champagne. Why have we got champagne?
Neil got down on one knee and proposed.
Which was fabulous,
It
wasn't it?
was. The Eiffel Tower was sparkling in the background.
Yeah.
I was just feeling ecstatic, shocked as well. I wasn't expecting it.
It turned out to be the best trip that we've ever taken because he said yes.
I think it just compounded the fact that we were starting this big new adventure, and to do it as a married couple just was the icing on the cake, I think.
Definitely.
Their wedding was the last big family gathering before the couple left for Australia.
It was the most perfect day. It was absolutely the best day of my life.
It was.
All our friends and family really came together. Everyone at the wedding just had great feelings and thoughts for us.
Although it was the best day of our lives to begin with, it had so much more significance that it was our big goodbye.
Yeah.
Saying their final farewells wasn't as easy as Neil had imagined.
In the few days running up to, and especially on the actual final morning before we went to the airport, I was genuinely devastated. I think it maybe shocked Christopher a tad at how upset I actually was.
I don't think it really sunk in for him until that point.
You're saying goodbye and it could potentially be forever.
It's not just your normal goodbye. We knew it was going to be a long time before we actually saw each other face to face again.
But for the couple, it was a sacrifice worth making.
Arriving at the airport, knowing that that's it, we're going to Australia to live forever, is an emotion that we'd obviously never felt before. The first thing we did was went and got a gin and tonic and sat and just looked at our tickets. We were in the zone to start our new life.
They've only been in Australia a month, but Neil and Christopher have already made huge strides.
Our first week in Adelaide was a bit mental.
It didn't feel real. We were here.
And when it came to a home, they were determined to start living the dream from day one.
I was very keen that we found a house as soon as possible. We viewed our house that we're in just now 2 days after we arrived, and we accepted the lease there and then for 12 months, so we had the keys that afternoon.
He said we accepted the lease, but I don't think I had very much choice in it, to be honest. But Neil had set his heart on this house, and what Neil wants, Neil gets, so make him happy. I thought, we'll just sign the lease.
Home is now a 3-bedroom detached house in the suburb of Oaklands Park, just 7 miles south of the city centre.
We absolutely love it. Having 2 living rooms, extra bedrooms, it's really ideal for people coming to visit.
The size of it, it's huge compared to what we had back in Glasgow.
This is bedroom number 2. It's where we store all of our boxes from everything that we've had to unpack. You have to arrange a specific time to take them to the dump. And as we're too busy enjoying our new time in Adelaide, that can wait. Master bedroom. Best thing about it is that we've got a super duper king size bed. And then your favourite bit is there.
I just love having the walk-in wardrobe, and I think about 90% of the clothes in here are mine. There's so much storage and space for everything, so it's absolutely brilliant.
And then we've got our ensuite bathroom, which is just awesome to have right next to you. It's just a different quality of life to have an ensuite and a walk-in wardrobe.
It just looks absolutely beautiful as well.
Their new garden is the ideal spot for enjoying the sunshine.
It's just a fantastic space. It's really nice just to sit outside, and it's something we'd never got the chance to do back home.
Every night we've been coming out and eating our dinner here just because it's such a novelty to have it.
Yeah.
Never one's for looking after a lawn. Although their garden has one, they've no intention of getting up close and personal with it.
There's a shed over there where you're supposed to store the lawnmower, but upon looking inside the shed, it's obviously a place where unpleasant, creepy crawlies will live. So there's a lawn mowing service. There's a man comes and he brings his own lawnmower and he cuts the grass for you. So just looking, I think we need to get him to come quite soon.
Work-wise, Neil was lucky enough to secure a job before the move.
I'd applied for 3 jobs before I came to Adelaide, and I had 3 job offers from those 3 interviews that I had, which was fantastic. So it was just a case of everything was sorted before we got here.
He's just started as a theatre nurse at St Andrew's Hospital in Adelaide.
I work in operating theatres, assisting the surgeon to perform orthopaedic surgery, so whether that's knee replacements, hip replacements.
The role's similar to the one he had at home.
I could take comfort knowing that my job was going to be the exact same as it was, and thankfully it's turning out to be just that.
The different environment did take some getting used to.
First day on the job was very nerve-wracking, to go from being a very competent nurse back in my hospital to being here as the new kid on the block, not knowing anyone or anything. It's a bit unsettling.
But it hasn't taken Neil long to settle in.
Coming here to find that everyone is so lovely and welcoming, it's great, it's such a relief.
And his new shift pattern's a world away from what he worked at home.
Most of the shifts I'm starting at 7 in the morning and I'm home by 3:30 in the afternoon. The whole reason for coming to Oz was to have a greater work-life balance, so at the moment it's a win-win situation.
That's not the only balance that's improved either.
It's probably paying me about maybe £20,000, almost more a year than I got back in the UK. So that is a significant increase in earnings, which is a dream come true.
Christopher hasn't had a job offer just yet, but his prospects are looking positive.
At the moment, I've currently been going through interviews for a job with a bank out here, so I'm just waiting on a final interview with the general estate manager for a branch manager role out here, so really excited and fingers crossed for that. That's really my dream job. That's ideally what I'd like to do, and there's plenty of opportunity out here for that, which is great.
While he waits for news, Christopher's managed to adapt to his new role as house husband.
It's a bit strange him going out to work and me being home. That's never really happened before since we've been together.
I think in some senses is maybe enjoying being a gentleman of leisure.
Yes.
He can go out gallivanting, go to the beach, but I do know that he's very keen to start work and to have that confirmation that we've got a second salary coming in and we can start paying for things that we really want.
During their trial week, the couple were shocked at their potential finances down under, but to date, it's not been an issue.
Now that we're here, we're very pleasantly surprised. Although at the minute we only have 1 salary, it's more than enough for us to survive at the minute. And then obviously when you start work, that's it. I can maybe drop my hours and start becoming a gentleman of leisure.
I don't think so.
For Neil, the move was all about a better lifestyle, and so far, Australia's living up to expectations.
We've been to a lot of markets, and there's a lot of markets here at the weekend, especially food markets, which is our favourite.
Going to the beach, eating out, meeting friends that we made previously, and getting to meet new people.
So I don't think there is much comparison just now. It does seem like we're on a big long holiday.
Entertaining friends was a huge part of the boys' life back in the UK.
Hi!
How are you?
And they've wasted no time putting their hosting skills into action down under.
Go and cook. I know.
They are just a great couple. and they're so much fun and brighten everything up. And they're just, yeah, just great to be with.
At one stage we thought they would never get here.
That's what I was thinking.
Because it was like, oh yes, it's in June or you know, a few months later, but it's great to see that they finally got here and they're happy to be here.
Coming over from Scotland to move here, I think it's just so brave. I couldn't do it. It's just a big move, but they've done really well.
Their short spell in Australia has delivered everything the couple had hoped for, but home's never far from their thoughts.
For me, homesickness always kicks in as soon as you hang up the phone with back home. As soon as you say your goodbyes, it hits you like a ton of bricks.
I still have been phoning and speaking to my grandparents every day in the same way I would as if I was back home. It makes it seem less real that we're actually so far away.
The main concern for me is just being so far away from home, and if anything was to happen back home, and how we'd be able to cope with that and deal with that.
One moment you think, yeah, we're doing great and we've adjusted to being here, and then bang, before you know it, you're teary-eyed and missing silly things like the cats.
The couple rehomed their felines with friends, but are managing to keep in contact.
Our friends keep posting Facebook updates to show, oh, Molly and Jensen are missing you guys, and we see their wee photos and think, oh.
I think it's more friends and family can understand, whereas the cats back home can't.
We miss lots about the UK. Although we're here starting our new life and everything is great, but it's not home yet.
Ever organised though, the couple are forearmed to fend off feelings of isolation.
We've already planned a trip back to Scotland, so we're going home for 2 weeks just before Christmas.
It was quite a conscious decision that we made to make sure we go home for a set period of time just to see everybody and get over that kind of homesickness.
Yay!
And they won't be able to put off taking those boxes to the dump for much longer.
Already we have almost a calendar full of people coming to stay with us here.
So we're having to strategically place them and make sure they don't overlap.
The couple can't wait to get family acquainted with their new life.
A house where my mum and dad can come and stay for months at a time is absolutely great.
Being able to offer this quality of life to our loved ones and our friends, for them to come here to share in our dream, I think seals the deal for us.
It may still be the honeymoon period, but the outlook down under looks like a sunny one for Christopher and Neil.
I would 200% say that we've definitely made the right move. It is very, very early days. We've not been here very long at all, but everything is going better than we expected.
We've put a lot of planning behind this, and this has been Neil's dream from the get-go. It feels absolutely great, and long may it continue.
I don't have any concerns at all about our future in Adelaide. I think things are going to work out perfectly well, probably better than we anticipated.
At the moment, with the way our lives are, I think definitely the future is in Australia.
It's difficult to put into words how fabulous I think it is, and it is so exciting that this is the start of the rest of our lives.
After a life-changing 2 years for the couple, it looks like they're well on their way to achieving their dream lifestyle. We wish Neil and Christopher all the luck in the world.